Dr. Grayson tells a friend what had really happened. The president was suddenly taken violently sick with the influenza at a time when the whole of civilization seemed to be in the balance. When Wilson returns to the negotiations, he's a different man. Wilson's confusion suggests he has been stricken with the Spanish flu.
In 1918, one of the most common complications was psychological impacts. In fact, there was a scientific assessment that said second only to pneumonia was mental disturbances. There's no doubt that Wilson was thrown off, and mentally he's just stopped making sense.
On June 28, 1919, the Treaty of Versailles is signed. Instead of a balance treaty, Germany is ordered to pay crippling reparations.
So you can see where the Treaty of Versailles is going to take you, right, if you're Germany. There's going to be unemployment, inflation, debt, economic crisis. A sense that the other powers of Europe have sort of combined to put all of the burdens of the war onto your country.
Wilson abandoned his principles. Versailles was a significant contributing factor to the rise of Hitler and eventually World War II.
In October 1919, the president suffers a massive stroke, which leaves him paralyzed on his left side. Historians have long blamed Wilson's blood pressure. John Barry also suspects a hidden hand in the Spanish flu.
One of the best-known complications of influenza are cardiovascular problems. It's very reasonable to say that the pretty severe influenza attack that Wilson suffered during the Versailles Peace Conference was a contributing factor to the stroke that he suffered months later.
Though kept a tightly guarded secret, Wilson is essentially incapacitated during his final year in office. An estimated 17 million soldiers and civilians died in World War I. The Spanish flu was much worse.
It killed roughly between 50 and 100 million people. If you adjust that for population, that would be between a little over 200 million to about 450 million in today's world.
New research suggests the virus may have been carried from China to Europe by wartime laborers. In 2003, the world trembled when another virus from China threatened. Sudden acute respiratory syndrome, or SARS, also had lethal pneumonia-like symptoms.
The scary part of the story is that if that SARS virus had been just a little bit more transmissible, it probably would have overwhelmed public health, and we would have had a disaster probably worse than the 1918 flu.
A coordinated global response to SARS and identifying the virus that caused the Spanish flu have given scientists hope they can avert the next influenza pandemic.
20 years ago, there were very few people doing influenza research. Now that's changed. We have the technical knowledge to, in the next 5 or 10 years, make much more universal vaccines, meaning vaccines that are more effective and the protection more durable and more long-lasting.
There is no national monument commemorating the 1918 flu. Only faded markers of forgotten fields for the unnamed dead. The president had sold the nation a war, but then sold the people short on vital public health information about a far greater threat.
People known things to do, things as simple as washing your hands, things as simple as not going to work if you're sick. Those things would actually have, I think, made a difference in the death toll. I think in most disasters, the best of humanity shows itself. People risk their lives, they help each other. That did not happen in 1918. It became alienated, and it was every person for themselves.
The war had made America a global superpower. As the American century dawned, few wanted to look back.
They want to remember a victory. They've got one. It's called World War I. And so the pandemic really is quickly subsumed under the war, and the war is the right story for Americans at that historical moment.
The lucky moved on. Soldier Albert Gitchell, who had been one of the first to fall ill, marries and opens a restaurant. He dies at the age of 78 in South Dakota. For countless thousands of other families, there are only hard memories and bitter lessons.
To suggest, though, that Americans forget the pandemic is actually not true. People are orphaned, they lose spouses, they lose children. This is a devastating event that's remembered at the level of an individual.
Yeah, the numbers they were talking about were about 1 in 4 people in the world died. Do you want me to leave this slide on here?
Yeah, if you could.
So you taking a movie?
Yeah, I am. Trying to hold the camera steady.
That is just amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think I'm going to post this online.
Send it to Kara. She probably wouldn't appreciate it, would she? Tired.
Yeah.
Had a good day though.
Daisy's having a good day. She's got a big old smile on her face with a mouse tail and 2 feet sticking out. Oh yeah. What's that in your mouth, Daisy? You look like a Komodo dragon. What you got there, Daisy? Did you get into the mice again? You got a little bit of a mouse on your, right on your, yep, you almost got it. Yeah, get it down. Burp. She says, "Mouse? What mouse?" Hey, stop looking at my lump.